Hello, my sewing friends. This is Friday Sews. I'm Jen, and this is the sewing room where I have been a busy bee this week. I got in here and I got a lot done. So I have some stories to tell you and also some plans, things that are coming up. So let me start out with the very funny story. I just can't believe I did this. I have been working on Vogue 9357. This is a really beautiful dress, and I've been working on this one. Actually, I've been working on this one. And I've been using the top of a comforter that I took apart. So it's kind of like a sheet, and it is a stripe. Well, I got it part of the way done. Well, actually, I got it most of the way done, and I had not lined the bodice, and I put it on, and it was so tight that I could hardly breathe. And I thought, okay, well, it's a muslin, that's okay. So I went ahead and took it apart and thought, okay, I'll line the bodice. And because I only had a fuchsia covered zipper, I thought, oh, I like that. And that's what I had put in. So I got fuchsia lining. Okay, so here's the dress. And it's beautiful, and it still doesn't fit. But here's the funny story. Okay, so I always like to do the burrito method, and I've got a video on how to do it, but I think it is the greatest method invented in the history of sewing. I don't know who came up with the burrito method, but whoever it is a genius. So I had done that, and when you do that, you have to take apart the side seams. So I had taken out the side seams. So I go to put them together, and I cannot find this piece right here. See how this is the bodice front, this is the side bodice, and here's the side seam. Couldn't find it. Found it on one side, but I couldn't find it. And I thought, wait a minute, I purposely did not take this thing apart all the way. Like, I didn't take pieces apart from each other. What happened to that piece? So I looked everywhere. I thought, well, apparently I did on that one piece. So I looked everywhere. I looked all around the sewing room, under things, on the floor, in the trash cans, everywhere I could think of. So I'm at my wit's end thinking, what in the heck happened to that piece? What in the world? So I was in here and I went to pick it up and look at the bodice, and then I realized I had taken this seam out instead of this seam. So this piece was attached to the back bodice, just hanging there. And here I'm trying to put it together, it's like, why doesn't this side seam work? Okay, I just want to say this. 54 years of sewing, and I'm still doing this kind of stuff. So if you are a beginner, don't worry about anything. Honey, you got this. You definitely got this if that's the kind of nonsense that I'm coming up with. So I figured it out. It hadn't gone anywhere. It was just attached to the back bodice. So I put it all together, and yeah, it's fine. It's done except for the hem, except that it's still too tight around my waist, which is okay because this is a muslin and it doesn't have to be perfect. The point of making a muslin is you kind of figure out what kind of fit you need. So there's that little story. Kind of a funny one. This story is not so much of a funny one, and I want to take time to tell you about it because I think that's important. I have been working on Vogue 1312, Lynn Mazono, my Mazono dress. When I made this, I made it from this fabric, and I didn't have enough of it to begin with, and I made it, and I didn't like the way the bodice fit. So I took the bodice off and in vain looked for more of this fabric, and I found some. I was going to use a different bodice, which I ended up doing, but I found this fabric. It is not, I don't know if you can, the color change is very slight, but you can see this is lighter than this. No problem. I threw it in the washer, had gotten it from a seller on Etsy. Got 2 yards of it, and I got it out of the washer, and I went to lay it out to cut the new bodice. And I'm so thrilled because I've got plenty of fabric, can easily line the bodice, and I see this. Do you see all these stripes? That is where it was on a bolt stored in the sun and it faded. That's probably why the color change is slightly different when you don't even see those. Plus it has this crease going down the center across on the lengthwise fold. So I knew I couldn't use this. I knew it was flawed. It was flawed when I got it. So I went back to the Etsy seller and I said, I can't use this, unfortunately. So can I have a refund? And she emailed me back and said, well, it's been 3 weeks since you bought it and you didn't let us know right away. Plus we were having a sale when you bought it. So it was on sale. And so for that reason, we can't do anything for you. Not, here's 10% off your next purchase, or you can send it back to us and we'll give you a credit, or we'll exchange it for something for you. Anything like that. Nothing. Just, oh, well, so sad. We're not doing anything about it. Well, that just made me upset. And it made me upset because, let me tell you another story. I am an Etsy seller and I have sold book covers and patterns. And I sold a pattern one time. Actually, it was this year and I was away from home when I sold it. Told my husband, can you please go through this box where it should be? And he did, and it wasn't there. So I told the buyer, I'm away from home. Here's the situation. I'm so sorry. Hang in there with me and I will get this pattern to you as soon as possible. Thinking I will get home, I'll find it, and I will priority mail or express mail it to her. I will make it right. Got home, couldn't find the pattern. I don't know what happened to it. Well, I went on Etsy to another seller, bought the pattern, and had it shipped to this person who bought it from me because I couldn't find it. Now, I lost money on that. Clearly, I had to pay the shipping, I had to pay the price for the pattern, which was more than I had charged the buyer for, who bought it from me. So this is how I feel like you should treat people who buy something from you. So this wasn't a case where, oh, I just don't like it. No, this was damaged. It is damaged fabric. I don't know what I'm ever going to use it for. I might be able to dye it, or I may be able to just make a muslin from it or something. But I obviously could not use it with this. So because of that, and because, the seller was just like, oh, well, I escalated it and brought it to Etsy, and Etsy opened a case and they resolved it. They refunded my money and it was fine. And then I debated about the review I should leave on this Etsy seller's website. And I thought, well, I'm an Etsy seller too, and I depend on those reviews, and I don't want to just bash her and say she was terrible. But I talked with my husband about it and my daughter, and I said, I want to be kind. And they said, you can be kind and still tell the truth. So I did. Suffice it to say, you need to be very careful on Etsy because most of the time you will get great people who give you quality stuff. But this shouldn't have happened. So anyway, well, in the meantime, my good friend Trish, love her, said, I can see maybe a contrasting fabric with that, maybe in a yellow. She's a genius because I found this. I went over to my local quilt shop and I found this beautiful forget-me-not fabric. Look how it matches. Oh, I can't wait to do a pattern review on this pattern and tell you all about it because it just came out so well. I mean, it's perfect. I only bought a yard of the quilting cotton, but I put a band on the bottom and I love it. It's my favorite dress, I think, that I've made so far. So even though that was kind of a tough situation, it got resolved and it was good. Okay, so after that, I needed a win. I needed an easy project to do that was just going to work out and be no trouble at all. So I reached for Simplicity 8640, which is my favorite dress of all time, and I've made several of them. And I had some rayon challis, so I pulled it out and I cut it out and I played around with a lot of the details with this. I found another pattern that I had that had a flutter sleeve on it. It's an older pattern from 1995. And I just think these turned out so cute. So cute. And the thing about a flutter sleeve, a true flutter sleeve, is that it's cut in a circle. Good luck hemming a circle. In my life, one of the most challenging things I've ever had to do was hem something that's cut in a circle, because shoot me now. Oh my gosh. I don't care if you've got a rolled hem foot for your regular machine, Delilah, and you are fantastic at it, it's not going to work. I don't care if you use any steam seam and you're a magician with an iron. Sorry, probably not going to work. The only way I've ever found that is an effective way to deal with this kind of a hem is to put a facing on it, or just do a rolled hem on your serger. So that's what I did. I still have a little bit of stitching that I need to remove where I attempted in vain to go over and turn it under and just do a little rolled hem, but no. So anyway, I got a nice finished edge. Now the thing about that was I went over to do my rolled hem. Now for a rolled hem, you only use 3 threads on your serger. So you only use the right needle, and the left needle, you're supposed to remove it. And I thought, well, I just want to put thread through it. I don't want to go to the trouble to just take the needle completely out. So I kept running test runs of the sleeve, the hem, and I thought, why isn't this working? It didn't work, and I'm going back to the thing and going, but I'm doing it all right. All the tension settings are right, all the things are right. I rethreaded my needle. I thought, what is going on? Jen, this is kind of let's go back to this fiasco again. You have to completely remove the left needle, like take a screwdriver and take the thing out. As soon as I did that, magic, and I had this beautiful rolled hem. Yeah, ultimately you have to be smarter than the thing you're trying to manipulate or do. Yeah, and that's not always the case with mine. But another thing I want to tell you is that if you want to do rolled hems on your serger, get some woolly nylon. It's a kind of thread it's very stretchy, and it's fills in all the little places on your rolled hem, and it makes it really solid and beautiful. So that is a good thing to do. So that is almost done. I just need to put the pockets on, and I'll have yet another 8640. So that started me on, the right track again. I felt really good about what I was doing, and on my table right now is a bunch of linen. Now I made a dress from this linen. I made a Marcy Tilton dress, love that dress. And I have wanted to make this Vogue Calvin Klein dress for a long time. It's Vogue 1588. It's from 1995. And while I like this one, I want it shorter. I don't know, are any of these? They're not shorter, any of them, but I will probably shorten it. It's going to be tricky on how to do it because of the way that this is cut. But it's cut on the bias, and let's see, this is the one I like with all the different ways that it goes. I just think that will be so cool, and I want to color block it out. And I've got some white here too. I don't know where it went. Probably fell off the edge of the table. But these are scraps that I have, and they're pretty decent big scraps. They're from Fabric Mart, and they are linen chambray. So yeah, that is on my table right now, ready to be cut out. And because I was doing that, I started looking through my stash, and I had pulled out a couple of dresses that I really want to make. And one is an Anne Klein Vogue 1499. This is from 2016. Love this dress. It's about time that I started going through my patterns that I have and saying, I never did make that. I need to make that. So I was looking at this, and I'm a little tired of stripes after, this kind of fiasco. I say it's a fiasco. It's not at all. So I played around with maybe some florals. Like I looked at that and I thought, yeah, that's pretty. But if you made the whole thing from this, you wouldn't see those style lines. See those style lines? I really like those, and they're accented by the stripes. And so then I thought, well, I could color block it out with like this. I think when you do that, it can look kind of, I don't know, gimmicky and cheap and maybe even juvenile. I just didn't want that. And I thought, well, I don't know. So I FaceTimed my artist daughter, and between she and the daughter that's visiting, we talked about it, and they both agreed that if I did a slight color variation of some solids, that might look really great. Kind of like this idea, where I've got two different colors of pink. And I thought, oh, I like that idea. Well, then I was thinking about this, and I just got these two ditzy prints. Now I'm going to have to put this down to show you, but these go together. They're companion prints in two different colorways. And I thought, if I did that, you'd see those style lines. So I think maybe I'm going to do that with these two fabrics. It was just like one of those brainstorm things that hits you and you go, oh yeah, I think I'd like to try that. Now, obviously, I'm going to try and get this bodice right first before I go cutting into all that fabric. Well, in the meantime, I have this floral, because when I pulled it out to look at it for that, I thought, oh, I really like that. What do I want to do with that? Well, I remembered that I have this Laura Ashley pattern. This is from 1989. But oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And I was thinking that if I dropped the waist a little bit and just made it in the right size, it might really be pretty. So I thought maybe out of this floral with this for the collar, I think that might be really pretty. So I don't know. I reserve the right to change my mind on that one. I pulled this out. This is Simplicity 2927. It is from CFL 2008. And I like this. Really, there it says 2008 right there. I like all these views. But what I love is the way that the pockets, like you can tell here because they're cut with a contrast, the way that the pocket comes down like that. I really like that. And I like this little tab thing in the front. So another thing I pulled out for that, the dress, the Vogue dress, was this. And I thought, you know, that might work for this. So I think I'm going to put these two things together. So that'll be a fun little dress to kick around in. Oh, I found my white linen. Here it is. So this is good. I go through spurts where I get a lot of things made and then I go, now what do I want to do? And I have no ideas. So this is good because if I can cut these out, then I'll be doing well because I can get ahead of the game and then I always have something sitting there waiting for it to be done. Before I go on, I'm wearing New Look 6779. Good luck finding it. It's from 2008. It's very popular pattern apparently because it's hard to find. So that's what I'm wearing right now. On the life front, I'm going fabric shopping on Monday, which is July 4th. It's Independence Day here in the US. And so I'm so excited. Michelle from Michelle Sews Again and I are going to drive up to Orlando. We're going to meet Trish from Pinky's Farm and we're all going to go fabric shopping because there's a big sale happening. 40% off everything in the store. Oh my gosh. I need fabric for a project that that's coming up. So it's a collab that I'm doing with Michelle. So I'm hoping to find the fabric for that when I get there. So that's coming up. Our question for this week is, it's Independence Day here in the US on Monday. Just how independent are you? Do you always follow the instructions? Nope. I am so bad at that. I always laugh and say that I think of that instruction sheet as friendly suggestions or kind of reference material. I don't ever go by cutting layouts anymore. I kind of lay it all out. Do I like it that way? So I don't know. I just go my own way with that. Sometimes I pay for it. Sometimes I don't. A lot of what instructions will help me with is order of operations. Even that though, you know, I mean, a little dress like this, I could probably do in my sleep because I'm not trying to brag. It's just when you've done it that long, you kind of get the gist of it, you know? So, like I say, I pay for that sometimes. There are times that I go back and I think, oh, why did I not pay attention to those instructions? So, and other times instructions are flawed or bad. They're just bad. So now, I do not follow the instructions all the time. So I think that'll do it for Friday Sews this week. Let me know what you're up to for this weekend, especially if you're here in the US and you are anticipating lots of picnic food, and at the end, fireworks. So let me know what you're up to. Hope you have a great weekend. And as always, if you would like to see any of my Friday sews in a complete playlist, it's right over here. Check out all the rest of the Friday Sewers, and I will see you next time. And I will leave you with this thought. Did you know that you are the apple of God's eye? There isn't anybody else like you, and you're his favorite.